Go ahead and mark Ephesians chapter 4. And when you do that, come back to 2 Kings chapter 10. I'll take an Old Testament picture and preach on a New Testament principle this morning with the help of the Lord. I know the Lord put this message in my heart, but it almost seems like it goes a little contrary to the mood of the service so far, but I'm sure the Lord's in it. I appreciate Clay and Joseph doing the music for us. Yeah. 2 Kings chapter 10, if you're willing and able to stand. Just read 3 verses. 2 Kings chapter 10, beginning of verse 15. It says, when he, Jehu, was departed thence, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart? And Jehonadab answered, It is. If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up into his chariot. And he said, Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord. So they made him ride his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained of the Ahab in Samaria, till he destroyed it, according to the saying of the Lord, which he spake to Elijah. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, God, we praise you for being so good to us. God, we thank you for these people who are here today, God. There's no mistake about it, God. You have everybody here for a purpose this morning, God. And I pray that you would just reveal yourself. God, move us out of the way, God, and break us, bend us, God, and mold us into who you want us to be, God. I pray that you show us where we're falling short, God, and I pray that we see the line in these last days, God. We thank you and praise you for being so good to us. Bring out a few things from this picture we've seen in 2 Kings 10 that will actually be coming out of Ephesians chapter 4. But here in this text we read, remember Jehu, we've been preaching on him, how God anointed him king and how he's been executing judgment and justice on the house of Ahab and of Jezebel and all the wicked kings and queens that have been persecuting and killing the prophets. And God has raised up Jehu to seek vengeance upon him. And now Jehu has slayed the king. He's killed Ahaziah. He's killed Jehoram, and now he's headed back to kill the rest of the house of Ahab. And on his way, he runs into Jehonadab. And Jehonadab was a servant of the old king. He was a servant of King Uzziah, but Jehu had already slain him. He had just got through killing him, and Jehonadab doesn't even know that yet. So Jehonadab is a servant to the old king, but the new king has taken him from him. That's what happens when we get saved. The old king ought to be dead. Now, I know he's still there, but you understand what I'm saying. And the new king has taken the throne, but Jehu asked him a question. He said, Is thine heart right? And I want to ask you that question this morning. Is your heart right? Are you serving the new king? And Jehonadab said it is. You know, he reached out his hand and said, Let's prove it. He pulled him on the chariot to go fight the enemy. You'll never fight the enemy if your heart ain't right.
That's right.
That's why we're not seeing revivals. That's why we're not getting the battles on the outside of our church and on the outside of our home, because the heart ain't right.
That's right.
We're still fighting amongst ourselves and fighting with this old flesh too much to turn and fight on the enemy. And I want to put a little spin on this sermon this morning. You know, whenever I hear a stirring sermon about getting my heart right, I automatically think, what do I need to get out of my life? What do I need to remove from my heart? But I'm going to go at a different angle this morning. Because see, it ain't always about what we need to get rid of. It may be about what we need to get. What we need to get in our life. And I'm going to tell you this morning that, you know, man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. And you know, you can get too far left. We understand that. We're not liberal this morning. At least I hope not. But we don't need to be on this side either. He said, turn not to the right nor to the left. Right. And we can get wrong in both sense and in both ways. And I want you to think about this thought. And I want you to ask this question to yourself. Do you love God? Do you love God this morning? Do you hate evil? Do you hate the world this morning? Let me ask you this. Are your actions and your attitude governed by your love for God more than your hatred telling you right now, I've been in a place where, hey, I was governed by my hatred for evil more than I was my love for God. And you just as out of the will of God as a sorry liberal if you're doing that. That's just the truth of the matter. Is your heart right this morning? Because what I'm finding these last days, man, you got people on this side of the ditch, and you got people on this side of the ditch, and they're both in the ditch, and they're throwing rocks at each other, and they both just need to get on the narrow road and go home. Is your heart right this morning? Is your heart governed by your love for God or your hatred for evil? He said not turn right, not to the right, neither to the left. And David asking that question, you know, because see, I've seen people on the right side of the I've been there now. I've been there now. I mean, I wanted to cross every T and dot every I. Talking to Brother Ron about this the other day. I was miserable, but I was doing all the right things. And I was reading Galatians 5 one day, and I came across the first 3 fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, and peace. The Holy Ghost stopped right there. So you don't have any of those. You really think what you're doing is of me? You don't have love, joy, and peace. I'm just telling the truth. Now, we get hung up on petty things that don't even matter in the end. People are dying, go to hell, and we're swallowing over petty stuff. Now, I want you to think about this. I've met people. I'm sure you have too. There's a man, I'm not mentioning his name, but you probably know what I'm talking about. This preacher, man, I mean, he'd preach you to hell for anything. Preach you to hell for going to the movies, preach you to hell for playing cards, preach you to hell for women wearing pants, preaching to hell for everything. And as it turns out, he was cheating on his wife with man. His heart wasn't right. He hated the world, but he didn't love God. Look, we can be separated from everything. We can be separated from the world and yet not be separated unto God. We had to learn about the... Now listen, don't get upset with me now. I'm not telling you to do those things. And I'm not telling you not to do them. That's between you and God. But let me tell you this. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking those things make you holy. You know, God said, be ye holy, for I am holy. It's not so much about what you do as about what you are. He said, be ye holy. God looketh on the heart. And I'm going to tell you something. When we get into liberalism and we get into legalism, I'm going to tell you why. It's because of the fear of man. The fear of man bringing forth the snare. People are liberal because they don't want to be somebody that's near and got their head in the sand. And they want to be with the big crowd. They don't want to go against the flow. You got people over here that are legalists, and they're worried about what some preacher's going to say about it, and do this or do that. And God's not in either one of them. Sins of the heart. I saw a bumper sticker one time. Now, we're talking about that legalism, how I was. I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, just miserable. Just bitter. I saw a bumper sticker several years ago, and I never forgot. It said, I'm not prejudiced. I hate everybody equally. You ever met anybody like that? Yeah. I'm not prejudiced. I hate everybody equally. I mean, that's how you get when you get in that mindset. God has not called us to lose our joy over what somebody else is doing. So what are the sins of the heart? I want to preach this morning with help the Lord on sins of the heart. Because see, Jesus goes so much further than the law. You know, you hear these liberals like to say, we're under grace. We're under that. Well, you know, grace is even stricter than the law. Right. Grace gets right down to the heart of the matter. The law says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Jesus said, if you look on a woman and lust after her with your eyes, you committed adultery in your heart already. Yeah. That's what he said. He wants to get down to the heart of the matter. Let's go to Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4, verse 29. We're getting down to these sins of the heart now. What are the sins of the heart? Number 1, corrupt communication. Look at verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. That means to build up, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And that corrupt communication, let me say this. You know, Jesus said in Matthew 28, it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You want to find out where your heart is? What's coming out of your mouth? And I'm not just talking about cuss words. I'm talking about, are you negative? Are you cutting other folks down? I mean, what comes out of your mouth is the aroma of your heart. What is in your heart this morning? Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. If it's corrupt in here, it's going to heart is. Corrupt communication is. We need to look, our speech needs to be grace, seasoned with salt, building each other up, not tearing each other down. And that's what we need to do. We need to have our grace, our speech needs to be grace seasoned with salt, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And let me say that all these sins of the heart we're going to get to, it's all this corrupt communication. It'll allude to these other things. If you got bitterness in your heart, it's going to show. If you got malice in your heart, it's going to show. It's going to come out here. It's going to come out in your actions. We need to get rid of that corrupt communication. But secondly, we need to get rid of bitterness. Look at verse 30. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby you're sealed unto burial. That word grieve, we understand what that means. We know what it is to grieve. But as a deeper meaning, that in the Greek, that word literally means to smother. To smother. It's almost like you're covering your ears when you speak to people. And that's what you have to do as a child of God to have any of these sins in the heart. You know that? You got to totally ignore what He's saying to you in order to hold on and nurse and milk these sins in the heart. And I don't care what you look like on the outside. You may fool me, because all I can do is look on the outward appearance, but God knows your heart. That's where He wants you to be this morning. Just have your heart right. The second sin is bitterness. Bitterness. You ever heard of myself like there's a bitter taste in my mouth? Boy, that's bitter. Allie likes to eat lemons, and she just never seems to learn. But she'll get a hold of that thing and eat it. Her whole mouth is gone. That's what bitterness is. Except it's in here instead of in here. Bitterness is a result of unforgiveness, and it has no place in the life of a Christian. It's a bitter taste in their heart due to a grudge against somebody. Got something against them. Somebody's done something to hurt our feelings, and now we're going to hurt them in our heart. We're going to have bitterness. We're going to have a grudge against them. So if somebody does something we don't like, we're going to hold bitterness in our heart. And can I say that bitterness will eat at you like a cancer? Yeah. Until you get rid of it, until you let go and let God have that thing. I like what Hebrews 12:15 says, 12, 14, and 15, and that's a good verse to go back and look at sometime. Hebrews, I'll just read the whole thing. Hebrews 12, 14, and 15, it says, but it says we'll be strangled by the root of bitterness, and will defile many. It says we literally shut off the valve. It says we will fail the grace of God by that root of bitterness. You know what that means? When we fail the grace of God, it means we literally turn off the valve of the grace of God in our life. And you know what happens? When water is flowing, that's the cleanest water you can find. But when water is stopped up, it becomes nasty and stagnant, and it's not going to be a help to anybody. Look, this world we live in is dying of spiritual thirst, and we're the only ones that can take the living water. But if it's dammed up in our own life, man, we're just going to be bitter and nasty and stagnant. If our hearts are not right, they'll be full of bitterness. You got bitterness in your heart against somebody this morning? You got somebody that if you see them across the aisle at Walmart, your whole inside just turn inside out just by seeing them? That ain't a God. Look, you're never going to be anything for Jesus Christ like that. That's bitterness. That's the sin of the heart. But not only bitterness, but wrath. Go back to Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4. Let all bitterness and wrath. Now, wrath is the outflow of the inward bitterness. It attempts to punish those that one is bitter against. They hurt my feelings. Now I'm going to get back at them. That's what righteousness of God. You know what that means? It means you're not going to take this arm of flesh and make anybody godly. You're not going to bully anybody to living right. You're not going to intimidate somebody into serving God out of the heart. But the thing is, if you're giving wrath on somebody, you don't worry about that anyway. You're not worried about getting them right with God. When you execute your wrath on them, you need to be worried about the wrath of God that's going to fall on them if they don't get saved. Wrath. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Because He wants us to hear twice as much as we speak. Is your heart right? Is thine heart right? Anger. Fourthly, anger. Now, you can glance back at verse 31. Verse 26. It says, Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. Now, let me say this. We're supposed to have a righteous anger against sin. And not a self-righteous anger, but a righteous anger against sin. And that the sun should never go down upon that anger. We should never stop being angry at sin. And if we do, look out. Look out. We don't need to be friendly with the world. But we're not supposed to have a wrathful anger. There's a fleshly anger. We have that sometimes, don't we? Yeah. We need to give it to God and not let it come out. We need to keep it in. Give it to God. Say, God, take it from me. That anger. But not only anger, but clamor. Now, clamor is like a verbal brawl. It's a fist fight of words. You're not physically hurting anybody, but you need to be doing this. Amen. You ever find yourself doing that? You need to do this. Yeah. Swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. And look, don't think that I don't get upset about stuff. I do. And there's some times where it's welling up inside of me, and I'm having to do this. I have to ask the Lord to help me. But if you can ever get to the place where you do that, and you go pray about it, and you go calm down, you'll save your testimony. You know that? That should be important to us. Then you can give them a soft answer. The Bible says a soft answer turneth away wrath. Clamor is a war of words. And there's no excuse for that in the child of God. Not even in biblical matters. Look, when I was a young Christian, I wanted to argue Bible with everybody. I'd pick fights with people. People that I work with, people that I went to school with. God's not in that either. You know what I've learned? There's some people that will ask you a question because they want to hear it. And there's some people that ask you questions because they want to give you their answer. And the Bible says, cast not your pearl before swine. And if somebody just wants to fight with me, I don't argue with them. I look, if they want to know the Bible, I give them the Bible and I'll be quiet. If they want to argue about it, I just gave you the word. You can do what you want to with it. Look, how horrible is it to be in a public place and have lost people watch two saved people argue about anything. Clamor. Keep it in, friend. Evil speaking. Dirty jokes. And by the way, you may not tell a dirty joke, but you know you're patting them on the back if you laugh with it. I'm not just talking about cussing. We understand that. Romans 3:14 says the sinner's mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Saints ought to be speaking different. Lies. Thou shalt not lie. Gossip. And there's two types of gossip. You can lie about somebody, just flat out lie about it. Or you can spread something that you've heard, not know if it's true. That's gossip. But you can spread around something that's true, and you know it's true, but it's still gossip because it ain't doing nothing but tearing that person down. Just because you know something for a fact